Hey, you. You looking for some land to farm on in New Jersey? What do you want, an 8, 10, 20, 30 acre plot? We got options for you. And we can do it for free. How do you like a 7-year lease plus 6 years of no-cost renewals? Throw in some technical assistance, grant writing help, some equipment, and even some market access support. Yeah, all thanks to the Increasing Land Access Grant, which is an arrangement or engagement with environmental conservation efforts through the Department of Environmental Protection and NRCS, which, in case you don't already know, is the National Resources Conservation Service. Now, yeah, sure, there's a catch, but in my eyes, it's a no-brainer. Catch is, you need to utilize organic management practices because, after all, it's usually land that's preserved or under the care of a New Jersey Fish and Wildlife Management area. So got to keep all of us earthly forest creatures safe and our waterways clean and clear, you know? So if you want to learn more, stick around and watch some of our site visit videos with my associate Johan, or simply visit NOFA-NJ.org and apply online today. This is a kind of offer you don't want to refuse. Stand by.
My name is Johan Rinkens. I'm with Fields Without Fences. We're at the Whittingham Wildlife Management area in Sussex County, New Jersey. We are assessing this field for a pilot program with partnerships of Rutgers, New Jersey Fish and Wildlife, and a host of other organizations, including NOFA New Jersey. And we're doing an initial read of this field. We'll be feeding that information back into the team that's working on this project. And so my initial assessment here is looking at access into the field, existing topography, existing hydrology and water conditions, and also the vegetative component of what's existing in the field itself. Okay, so we're in a roadside field, 19684, the Whittingham Wildlife Management area. Most of the fields that we've assessed, or all of the fields that we've assessed today, are in a mowed fallow state. And one of the conditions, both of the lease and of the management practices here at the WMA, are that they are leaving the grass high for ground nesting birds from April through July. And that gives a chance for any of those ground nesting birds to have a safe, secure environment to nest, bed down, and raise their young in. All right, so we're at the Manasquan Wildlife Management Area. This is field 101. Overall, relatively flat topography. There's a couple rolling dips, a couple high spots. Overall, it doesn't look like it would pose a ton of impediment topographically to grain production. What we do see here in the fields, though, as part of the wildlife management area, this gets mowed about once a year. It does look like this is predominantly a goldenrod meadow with some early indicators of early woodies moving in. So we see some remnant blackberry plants, some remnant wild pear that was mowed down in this last round of management here. So from a production standpoint, we would want to look at disking, basically resetting succession and getting this back into a state where it's quote-unquote tillable acres. Also looking at some remnant pasture or hay grasses. So at one point this might have been hayed, and then as they backed off the hay, you had those meadow species move in as well. So we're at Manasquan Wildlife Management Area. This is field 106 and 107. This has not been mowed, so contrary to the first field we visited, which had just recently been mowed, well, we get a better view of the species that are out here. So there's little blue stem, goldenrod, as far as the native meadow grasses and forbs go, but then I'm also seeing stands of mugwort right behind me. Some of that black locust that's in the hedgerow is also starting to move into the field. So again, it'll take a little bit of initiative in that first year or two to get this back to a point where it's tillable acreage, but not super daunting. And as we look out behind us, the topography falls towards that backwood line. And then in those woods is actually the creek that feeds into the Manasquan River. So I'm gonna make a wild assumption that it gets wetter as we go further down slope and further back into those woods there.
And I'm Tyler Kinney. I am a biologist with New Jersey Fish and Wildlife's Bureau of Lands Management. We administer about 360,000 acres of land across the state of New Jersey.
So about how many acres do we have here?
So Mantua Creek Wildlife Management Area is about 107 acres total.
Cool. And then I think in this organic pilot program, we have about 13 or 14 available for the lease farmer.
That's correct, yeah. So this piece historically was a part of our farm lease program.
Gotcha.
So basically the way our farm lease program works is we lease out land at a public auction to farmers. They come in, they can farm the land if they're awarded the bid, and then they provide in-kind services in return, which is a benefit to wildlife.
Right.
So that's a little bit about the history of this particular piece.
Very cool. So when you say benefit to wildlife, what might some of those practices be?
So for example, we'll have lease farmers come in and perhaps plant a pollinator mix or some sorghum and buckwheat to provide them forage and cover throughout the winter months. Just kind of bolsters the overall habitat value on the wildlife management area.
Gotcha. Are there any specific species you're targeting for habitat here? You know, like birds, deer, etc.?
A whole variety of taxa, but I think the ones that really mainly benefit from this practice are early succession species. So anything like white-tailed deer, turkey will utilize these food plots, cottontail rabbits, variety of birds, and then of course when they plant the pollinators,
Right.
insects in the pollinator gills.
Beautiful. Hey folks, Johan here with NOFA, New Jersey. We're down at the Fortescue Wildlife Management Area. We're looking at about 21 acres and we have some guests with us here today.
And I'm Harry Jackson from the Nattico-Lenape Tribal Nation. We have a high interest in conservation of the land, and we are here to look over this piece of property, 21, I guess, approximate acres.
Yep.
We're trying to figure out what would be the best going forward to helping this land and helping the tribal community also. I'd like to introduce some of the other tribal family. We have Sonia Street. We also have Bruce Pierce Sr., Bruce Pierce Jr., and our tribal friend Nate.
So if you want to learn more, visit NOFA-NJ.org and apply online today.